Today I'm going to be giving my information speech on marijuana, also known as pot, weed, dank, dope, jazz cabbage, devil's lettuce, ganja, grass, cannabis, etc. But last speech I gave, I talked about my bong and what it was to me and like what marijuana was to me throughout like high school and college. Today I'm going to be just talking about the aspects of marijuana, the history of it, uh, different types, not really different strains because there's a lot of those, different ways to smoke it. So yeah, the history of weed. So in the ancient times, cannabis dates back to China in 2737 BC. So that's the first time it was recorded that marijuana can get you high. And then it spread from China to India to North Africa and reached Europe in 500 AD. It was first introduced in America in Jamestown in 1611, and it began to first catch on in the 1920s. One of the facts due to this is because of the prohibition, people couldn't drink, so they'd smoke. And then by the 1960s, marijuana was used mostly by college students and hippies, and it was sort of an emblem of rebellion against the authority. And in 1970, the Controlled Substance Act of 1970 classified marijuana as a Schedule I drug, which means that get people addicted, which I don't really believe is true, but it's all other substance I drugs are heroin, LSD, some strong stuff. In 1982, the DEA, which is the Drug Enforcement Agency, really started to crack down on weed farms. So the movement of marijuana kind of slowed up through America. There was not a lot of weed smoking in the 1980s compared to nowadays. Because in the early 1990s, that's when it really started to become popular again. And today, it's more popular than ever. There's dispensaries all across the country. There's almost every state starting to turn around and legalize the recreational smoking of marijuana. So yeah, it's getting big. So the different types are, the first is indica, which is more of a sedative, full body, relaxing effect. So if you're sleepy, it'll get you really drowsy. You can go to bed if you have insomnia or something. And this is first grown in the Hindu Kush area in Afghanistan. And the next type is sativa, which gives you uplifting full body effects and kind of energizes you. And this originated near the equator, so more southern. And then there's hybrid, which is a cross of the two, sativa and indica, dominated by either, depending on the strain. So some different ways to smoke. In ancient times, people used to get bundles of marijuana, throw them onto an open fire, and either inhale that directly, or they'd set up a tent and do it in there so they could hotbox themselves in. Nowadays, there's joints and blunts. You can get those. You just roll your own little weed cigarettes, kind of. There's bowls, pipes, and steam rollers, which are devices used without water. It's kind of just a straight hit. You can make those out of cans, apples. I'm not a big fan of those. Then there are bongs and bubblers, which are used with water to kind of block some of the negative effects of the smoke. That's the safest way. There's some not as well known ways to smoke is a gravity bong, which is used through a water bottle, and you get a little ratchet piece in the top and you burn it through the hole in the bottom, and it'll funnel the weed through. And my personal favorite is hot knife hits, and that's why I brought my visual enhancement. For these, you want to get butter knives, probably not really good ones, just more of these are really dull because you will ruin them. Then you get a mouthpiece, which you can cut like a water bottle. It'll just funnel the weed in. Then you get the two knives red hot, either by a torch or a stove or something. You press one on the weed and press them together under the funnel mouthpiece, and it'll funnel smoke right in your mouth. That's a really big hit to take. Like, it goes straight to the head. Um, so to close my speech, I'm gonna quote Jonah Hill in that weed is tight.